If you're not listening to the Smoke World podcast, you're wasting your time, you mortal.
What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Smoke World. I'm your host, Stone. So go grab that stick, go grab a glass or whatever you're drinking. Let's sit back and have a conversation. You can follow me on Instagram at Smoke World Podcast and email stone@smokeworldpodcast.com. And we're talking about this website, folks. www.smokeworldpodcast.com. Today's guest is the essential part of SmokeWorldPodcast.com. He is the creator. He is the man himself. He has blessed us with his presence. Today we do this episode. We are coming to you from the lounge. We have some of the brothers of the Leaf sitting by. They will be asking questions, but we will do what we do. The man is in the building. Owner of Weak Fish Graphic Design Company, Mike Dove. What's up, Mike? How you doing today?
What's up, Stone? Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, absolutely, sir. So, as anyone who listens to my show, we start off with the demographics, sir. So, tell us where you're from.
Originally, I'm from Maryland. I currently live in Delaware. I'm married, Stone, if that means anything
that's
to all
fine.
the ladies listening.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I know you're a ladies' man, so
yeah,
let your wife know.
Sorry,
let
ladies.
those people who are listening
Very
that
happily
that you are
married,
taken.
Out of the running. So yeah, man. Just enjoy a lot of cigars, play a lot of golf, a lot of family time, man.
Okay, great. So if you're hearing this background noise, folks, this is a different setup because we're live at the lounge, and we're going to do a town hall type of format, meaning that I'm not going to be the only one talking. We have Mike here. We have some other guests, some brothers of the Leaf, sisters of the Leaf. So if they have any questions, they will be allowed to ask any questions. So let's get into the company, brother. Your company's Weak Fish. You did an excellent job for me. If you see the website, folks, SmokeWorldPodcast.com, Weak Fish is responsible for that. So let's kind of get into what's going on with the company. How long have you been in business, sir?
Since 2013, full time.
2013.
I worked in the automotive business for a while. In college, I took marketing, graphic design, and started off doing websites on the side. And then it got to the point where working 50, 60 hours a week for a car dealership and another 40 or 50 on the side, that it was time to make a decision what to do. Wasn't quite ready, but as most entrepreneurs, and a lot of them sitting in this room right now will tell you, sometimes you just got to take the leap. So I took the leap.
Nice. Well, like I said, folks, again, if you want to see his work, I'm going to plug it, SmokeWorldPodcast.com. But again, you can let them know where can they find you at, because you have your own website, Weak Fish.
Absolutely.
Is the company.
You can find us on all the social media outlets at Weak Fish LLC. That's all of our domain names, but it's weakfish.com. What we specialize in is a subscription-based graphic design plan. A lot of people say, what does that mean?
Absolutely.
Basically, you sign up with us, you pay a flat rate per month, and you get unlimited graphic design, unlimited revisions. No matter how many you request, your price doesn't change.
Okay, so now let's go, because we're talking about cigars right now. We're at the Cigar
Yeah.
Lounge. We're doing this live at the Cigar Lounge. So you have a company, and you're beneficial to a lot of companies and lounges that you actually create the content, website, and it's an important factor that we mentioned that you do the social media aspect
Absolutely.
of that. Because social media right now is a place where it really costs you nothing to get advertised.
Correct.
But it's important to have a certain look.
So
and you create that look.
So you're right. So the biggest thing with the tobacco industry, you can't run social media ads. It's illegal. Facebook does not let you run ads as a premium cigar lounge. So a few years ago, we partnered with a company and we developed our own algorithm software that has an agreement with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to where we can target your customers still. So I can target them by age, interest, one being cigars, location. I can even drill down if they're single, if they're married, income level, and like I said, the most important thing is the location. So as a cigar lounge, let's say in the Philadelphia area, I can target all your surrounding point customers. And only those people are going to see those posts. It's as close to a true ad as you can get.
So at the end of the day, you take the hard work from these people who are cigar lounges or cigar brands where they actually sell that. That's not their job.
Absolutely.
I mean, you make it easy for them to do what they need to do.
Absolutely.
Promote what they need to promote.
You know, you can spend 14 to 20 hours a week trying to come up with your own content and graphics that are or you can pay a company a flat rate and they knock it out for you and deliver it to your inbox or post it for you.
Okay, now we need to mention how do they get in contact. What's your website? How do they get in contact with you?
So a couple different ways, weekfish.com. We have info at weekfish.com for any sales or questions that you may have. Or obviously social media. Somebody is always monitoring the Facebook messages or Instagram.
Okay, make sure you spell weekfish. So
so we spell a little different.
Right.
So it's
That's
like
correct.
day of the week, WEEK, and then fish.com.
Weekfish.com. Okay, with all that being said, now, I don't know if you want to get into this or not, but what are some of the companies that you have worked with? Because I've seen a hell of a resume on the website. So you can let folks know that you're legit. Hey, he's the real deal.
Yeah, we've worked with everything from mom and pops to Fortune 500 companies. We've done stuff from NASCAR teams. We work with Lowe's, Texas Roadhouse. We've done stuff for Enterprise Rental Car. Tons of cigar manufacturers, AJ Fernandez. We are getting ready to lock into a partnership with LCA. And we're working on becoming the official marketing and graphic design partner of the PCA.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that's awesome. So I think you need to really emphasize on what your skill set is, whereas though if I'm a lounge owner or a cigar brand, what you do for me?
So
as far as taking away from me having,
Sure.
I sell cigars,
Sure.
but I don't have time to put all this stuff out here every day on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Exactly what can you do for? So you're talking to the people that's listening.
Yep.
Tell them exactly what you can do for them.
So we can handle all of your social media marketing, all your content creation. One of the things that sets us apart from a lot of marketing companies that walk into a cigar lounge, they don't know what the hell a cigar really is. Talking to many lounge owners that we work with, they've hired companies and are like, we have to supply all the content. We've got to talk to them and tell them about what the cigar is. The advantage of us, you don't have to do that. We know the cigars. We have, stock photos that we're able to get. And when we create, one of the things we do is we create all of your stuff. Flyers for events, we design them. Social media, design them. If you need something for your website, we'll design it. One of the things that we've really gotten into has been really cool is custom posters for events.
Yes, I've seen those.
You've seen
Excellent.
them. Yeah, you've
Excellent
seen
work.
them. So that has been a huge hit. One of the other things that a lot of lounges are starting to partake in, you walk into a lounge, you see the same posters, right? You see see the Perdomo poster. Everyone's got that. Wouldn't it be nice to have your own custom Perdomo poster hanging in your lounge?
Absolutely.
Smoke Cigar Lounge sells Perdomo cigars. So it's something, it's all about branding when it comes to business, no matter what kind of business you're in. We're able to take that time. Our motto is, we save you time so you can run your business. Your job is to sell cigars, get cigars in, plan events. Ours is to promote that for you. So that's what we're taking off your plate.
So basically you get to customize their need, whatever they may want.
Yep.
And some folks don't know what they want.
Absolutely.
And
we
the key.
help them with that.
Right. And I think that's really where the problem is a lot of times with folks who are not that familiar with social media.
Sure.
They're not familiar on what they need to put out there, how often they need to post.
Look, for the longest time, we all know porn was the number one thing that you do online, right? Watch. Facebook has surpassed that.
Hey, no
the
judgment
average,
zone. There's a no judgment zone. What's wrong with porn?
No, nothing's wrong with
Okay.
it, but the average profile spends over an hour a day on Facebook alone. It's a lot of time when you factor in work time, sleep time, dinner time, and just relax time. That's a lot of your day.
I thought it was more than that.
The average profile.
Average.
Yeah.
So I guess the people I know, they must be above average because
absolutely.
I think most folks
Are above that.
a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
You got TikTok now.
For
People
sure.
watch TikTok all day.
For sure.
They fall asleep on TikTok.
Yep.
It's okay. Again,
And that's
I
the
must
cool-
admit, I'm one of those guys, I might go and check out some videos just before I fall asleep, but it's addictive.
I think there's a couple guys sitting in here right now. We always talk about it. You're sitting there on TikTok. Next thing you know, it's 1:30 in the morning. You're still watching TikTok. You get sucked in. You're done with it, right? And that's the other thing that we do as part of our unlimited packages. We also include video creation. Not shooting the video, but we'll put the video together for you.
Gotcha. All right, that's good stuff. Again, I don't want to hog the mic because I have other folks here that may have some questions. I'll see if anybody has a question. I see one of my good brothers over here shaking his head. He's a little nervous, but that's okay. But we're not going to put the mic in his face. And I had another brother here who I haven't seen in about 6 years.
Prison release finally.
I think he got released on a work release. He got a lot of tattoos, so I don't know if he just got released from the prison or not. So we won't mention any names. Hey, sir, good to see you, buddy. What's up, brother? Do you have any questions, man, for the young man?
I just want to state I'm on good behavior. I'm on good behavior right now, so everything's okay. My PO's happy with me. But I mean, since we're talking about Weakfish, and as someone who's been a trailblazer and paved his own way, I just asked to you, Mike. What was it? What was that moment, that aha moment, where you said, I'm done with the corporate world. I'm ready to be a business owner. I'm ready to keep the money in-house and work for myself and be my own boss.
Well, Sherm's going to laugh at this when I say this because he really understands the meaning. I finally got tired of making somebody else's boat payment. Not that I'm a boater, as Sherm will tell you. Scared to death of it, but... Scared to death, but
bitches because you don't take him out on your
but I did. Right. I played a part. I played a part.
I interjected.
But that's really what it got to be. I got tired of making somebody else's boat payment.
And just to follow up, when you made that initial switch, what do you think was your biggest obstacle or your biggest challenge to overcome within those first years?
Really, time management was number one. I started working from home, and it's like, I can kind of screw off for an hour or two. And so time management, and obviously going out unproven, right? You're walking into a business, and they're like, well, and I started off in the automotive world because that was my contacts, and I'm going up against people like Auto Trader, Edmunds. So I had to offer more than what they could offer and be willing to do more. And that's one of the things about business now is there is no more 9 to 5. I have business owners. Dave saw me sitting in the parking lot. I was working on something because a customer needed it tonight. Now, I could have just said, look, your plan says I got 2 to 3 days to get it done, but I know he needed it. So knocked it out in the car.
Okay, folks, this is why I created this podcast. For this reason right here, because we meet people in the lounge. We have the greatest ideas in the lounge, but a lot of folks don't make that move. They don't take that step to say, you know what, I can do that. So you're listening. Again, these are the things that you can accomplish. I know you might be scared, but hey, sometimes you got to take that step and leap out in faith. Speaking of faith.
Real quick, Stone, one of the things, I've read a lot of books, right? And they say one thing that all, billionaires, millionaires have in common, at one point in time, they all took a leap of faith.
That's what you got to do. And this is why I love this podcast, and this is why I love smoking cigars. Because I know a lot of times we may get that question as cigar smokers, for those who don't smoke cigars, why you guys smoke cigars, or girls? Number one, for me, it's enjoyable, but the people you meet from smoking these cigars is absolutely amazing. They become like family. So, folks, if you're listening, maybe you don't smoke cigars, maybe you do, you understand where I'm coming from. But for those who don't, I know this is one of the common questions that we always get. Hey, they stink. Why do you people smoke cigars? The people you meet. That's all I can tell you. The people you meet are some of the most amazing people, and this is the same people that I bring on the podcast because you meet some of the most intriguing people, and you have some great conversations in the lounge. So again, enough of me talking crazy. I'm going to walk around, see if anybody else has anything else for him. But we do have a famous man in the room. He's wearing a shirt. We're speaking of books. The man has wrote a book.
You want me to help you with it?
No, sir. No, sir. We're going to let you do all that. I'm going to let this man introduce himself because he's the man. He's the legend.
Stop.
He's teaching us things each and every day. He just came back from a location. His huddle. He's got a little Yoda, a little Jedi guy who teaches him all these stuff. He don't really give us anything. I think we got to pay him for all this information, but that's all right. I got $5 in my pocket. Brother Mike, what's up?
Yo, what's up, guys? Sherm, So I wrote Destination Success. It's 8 mindset hacks for every entrepreneur. And to get into the entrepreneur thing and to follow up on what Mike said, don't think that it's a huge accomplishment or a huge step you have to take. It's like everything else in every business and every job. You just got to be consistently taking steps forward. You know what I mean? Like, don't think that you got to take this big, huge bite to jump out. Like, you got to make one step. You got to take one one instruction. You have to set a goal, and then you have to set a plan, and then you have to start working towards it. And that's really what it is when you get into owning your own business. It's just setting a plan, having goals, and moving forward. And the biggest scare is that there's nobody standing behind you to tell you what you're doing right and wrong. But again, to your point, when you sit down in a cigar lounge, there's a lot of other people that have done the same thing. And most times, if you go to other places, most people don't talk about this stuff. Here in a cigar lounge, and in every cigar lounge, and I've been all over the world smoking cigars when I was in the Navy. Now that I'm doing, I do business coaching in Texas with my coach and a group out there. Everyone talks when you have a cigar in your hand and your favorite beverage. Everybody starts talking, and next thing you know, things that you thought you were dealing with, like, oh man, my employees, or oh man, the IRS, or oh man, the state with taxes, everybody goes through it. So you just start talking, and next thing you know, there's the answers, and it's all there. So yeah, when you sit down, that's why we hang out at cigar lounges. I mean, it's not the atypical, you relax, but you have people that are, all in common because we all smoke cigars. And that's the first thing that sets us all together as a group. And then from there, everybody starts talking about their day and things that are going on. Next thing you know, we're critiquing other people's books. We have somebody across the aisle over there that wrote her book as well, and things like that. And you start talking about things, and then you feel, what, I can do this. There's other people in the room doing it. I can do it too. And that's really what you need. You have to get the right people around you that will, promote that this is the right thing to do. And it's tough because most people have jobs, and when you go to a job, you have a boss, and like Mike said, you're paying other people's car payments, mansion payments, whatever it is they do, golf, their country club, payments, that kind of thing. But now you're doing it for yourself, and you're investing in yourself.
Are you looking for a new platform to connect with other cigar smokers, consumers, lounges, and brands while escaping tobacco-related rules of other social media platforms? Then look no further. Stogie Lives, the new social media platform for cigar lovers created by a female. So come join Stogie Lives, STOGIELIVES.com, where every cigar lover has a place to connect.
And then when you get around the right set of people, you continue to invest in yourself. Doesn't always cost money, but it's knowledge. And the more you learn, just because I've been doing this 24 years and Frank's been doing it 30 years, doesn't mean we're experts. We're not experts. We learn every day. We learn from people that have 9-to-5 jobs. Hey, this is a good thing. I have a banker friend of mine that I go to HR. He's my HR guy. Because if I have issues that I'm not sure of, I ask him questions. Hey, so this is the situation going on at work with this employee. How would you handle this at work? And he says, well, this is how I handle it. How did you? And his first question to me every time is, so how'd you handle it? And I go, nowhere near like that. But you get both sides of the perspective, and then sometimes you come in the middle. I'm not a big, huge multinational company like he works for. So you kind of try to find, okay, well, what would work for me with my 30 employees in my business, and you try to find the middle. So that's really what the brothers and the sisters of Leaf are, is we get together and we think the same way and we act the same way accordingly. My question for Mike, since he's sitting over here on his phone, is I think you should really explain. So branding's a word. It's like everybody takes a paintbrush and goes branding, but you really have to understand what that means. Branding is a huge thing, especially if you're going to be have your own business and have your exposure on social media. I think, Mike, you should really go deep into that and explain why you need to make sure you have the right person helping you brand.
So, great question. So branding is, you got to be consistent in everything that you do. Whether you're working in a cigar lounge, you know, running a car dealership, whatever. Much like we're sitting here, like the bag in front of you right now, DBL, right? Dominican Big Leaguer Cigars. He's got bags. Why do you invest in putting bags out, right? Because you know what? When Sherm takes that out of here, that person's going to see that bag. What kind of cigars are those? Those are DBLs. Where'd you get those at? Got them at the Cigar Lounge. Branding is everything because it is essentially your name out there always. Always be consistent. You know, if you notice, you follow us a lot, what we do with a lot of cigar lounges. Everything we do for our cigar lounges always has their branding logo somewhere in the design somewhere. It's always constantly getting your name out. Branding is everything from sales, marketing, to even customer service. You know, you look at what's the mantra about Disney World, right? Or Disney Company. It's all about the customer experience, right? That's their brand. When you go to Disney, you're not going to be disappointed. They'll make it right. That's the thing about branding is a lot of businesses, because they're trying to run their business, they forget about their branding part. Branding will take you a long way in your business. Everything has to be branded.
So, yeah, you forget about branding. Why? Because you have blinders on and you're running your business. And you don't know what the customer's seeing. So you need someone that's objective on the outside looking in to say, hey, this doesn't match what you're telling me. Or
Right.
this doesn't say what you're telling me it says. And you have to make sure that everything is congruent and aligns with your core values and what your mission is for your customers. So,
Yep.
yeah, branding is super important. And when you find the right person, like Weakfish and Mike, they make it easy for you. So, it's super huge. It's super, especially when you're starting out, because that's how you seem like a huge company when it's just you and 3 people. You know, because everybody sees your logo, sees you out somewhere. You know, I have stickers on everything. I can show you pictures on my phone right now. 4 orders went out today, and 4 people sent text messages with pictures to my girlfriend saying, "Yo, Sherms was at our office today." You know, like, it's huge because once people know who you are, it seems like you're everywhere.
Yep.
And that's really what you want, because once people see it, then they know, okay, you're the company I want to deal with.
Okay, with that being said, now we have the layman listening to the podcast. They're just getting started. They may be intimidated because they're thinking, okay, you know what? This sounds expensive. This sounds like it's going to cost me a ton of money. I'm just getting started. Is this something I'm going to be able to afford? Are there different packages that Weakfish may offer to smaller companies? Again, I'm a podcast. And again, you gave me the most amazing price. So again, for those who are listening, again, getting started, what is it that you want to tell those individuals that may have some fear, financial restraint, that say, it sounds great, I need that, but I don't think I can afford that?
So I always look at it from this way. It's an investment. Much like when you buy company shirts, you wrap a vehicle, you put a sign up out in front of your building, what are you doing? You're making an investment for it to be seen, right? It's the same thing. We live in a world today where everyone lives in this little box right here called a phone, an iPad, whatever. It has to be part of your investment for your business. Because I'll tell you, if you're not willing to make that investment, your competitors are. And they'll do it. And they'll do it right. I mean, we have packages that start out as low as $800 a month, as much as you want to go, depending on what custom you want to get. But it's something, you don't have a choice to do it anymore. Today's marketing, I tell people, is a lot easier to do than it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Because there's more avenues. I mean, 20 years ago when you started a business, what did you do? You took an ad out in the newspaper, maybe a radio ad, and you're hoping somebody listening in the car heard you. Now I can be in your face all the time. I can constantly send you messages without sending you a sales pitch.
So think about that. $800 a month. Sounds like a lot of money, but that's $9,600 a year for your marketing executive. $10,000 for the employee that's going to do all your marketing 24 hours a day for you.
And graphic design?
And the graphic design. $10,000. Think about that. No, I know $800 sounds like a lot. It seems like a lot of money, but think about the long term. You're hiring a market executive for $10,000 a year.
Fortune 500 company.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're in your job, what's the marketing department? How many people are in that department? How much do they get paid a year? Let's just say one person. What, 40, 50, 60 grand a year? Right. So you're getting this at one-third of the price, one-fourth of the price that you would pay a full-time employee that's going to act like a full-time employee that's not a full-time employee.
And the other benefit of us, there's no sick days, there's no vacation, there's no benefits to pay us. If you have a team member working on your stuff whenever you submit something. The other thing that I always like to tell people, and we put it on our website, unlike some of our competitors in the graphic design world, we don't sublet stuff to other countries. Every person that we have on our team is in U.S. base. They're not, 15 hours away from you. When it's 8 o'clock here, it's, midnight there. And, everyone here is stationed and based here.
So, Mike, it's just another question because I know you, and I know you've been down a couple avenues. I know that Weakfish was not your first company that you started,
right?
And talk to us a little about your venture into the tobacco world and how you came out of it.
Man, I thought we were going to get through this, Sherm. I thought you would be the one that would ask that.
I would never, ever talk about that live.
So
that's a story we talk about on the golf course.
The guy shows up one night a year. One night a year.
He gets out on work release, and this is the first question he has.
I'm fresh into the streets, baby.
He pulls out the shiv already.
All right, so how much time do we have on this podcast?
I don't know. We're 10 minutes into it.
All right,
really
so
the business aspect, but,
So real quickly, 2011, I'd been smoking cigars for a while, and not to give you the gimmicky little story, but my grandfather and great-grandfather were in the tobacco business in Southern Maryland. So I always grew up. I was born with a tobacco leaf. Yes, they may have went into a Marlboro, but it was still a tobacco leaf, right? So in 2011, I got very interested in doing cigars. Met up with a company, and the guy says, "Look, you can do this one or two ways. You can pay me a shit ton of money, and I can just put your name on a cigar. Or you can do it the right way, and you can come figure out how to do this, and you can blend your own cigar." So that's what I did. Went down, and I actually came up with a very unique cigar, and Sherm can tell you because
it's the best.
Here you go, Sherm. Thanks. We came up with a triple wrapper, triple blended cigar. It was very unique. No one at the time had anything remotely close to it. We were not, so we got cigars rolled, we let them set, and then all of a sudden, the company who was rolling and growing them for us like, "Hey, dude, you need to come to the trade show." I'm like, "Dude, no, we didn't have a website at this point, right? This is how new it was. Come on, man, you can share our booth, we'll fly the cigars, you guys come out." So we go out to Vegas. We don't know anybody, dude. Nobody. Except for one guy who I had friended through social media. You guys may have heard of him. His name's Nick Perdomo. So, I say this is kind of like my all moment. We were setting up for the show. Nick's setting up his $400,000 booth, and we've got like we literally took this kiosk thing out of a store that closed.
2 tables, 2 tablecloths, and
right.
100 cigars.
Right. No, we have more than 100 cigars.
Sorry, 300 cigars.
Yeah. So,
like we all do for the first time, I promise you.
It was embarrassing.
Very embarrassing when we all go to a trade show and you look around and go,
"We're not prepared.
Shit, I need to spend more money." I'm speaking for myself. This is not a Dub story. This is a Sherm story.
So Nick comes over the day before, and this is like a funny ass story that Nick and I share all the time. And he's like, "Hey man, I want to have a cigar." I'm like, "Oh great, I'll grab one of mine." He said, "No. Grab 2 of yours because I want to smoke it." And so you're sitting there, you're thinking, "Man, I'm a nobody. This is like, I don't know. This would be like Tiger Woods wanting to play around to golf with you, right? And he's going to use your drive in the fairway." So we go over and we sit there and we're smoking. And this was a little side note, but this little like 80-pound security guard walks over and he goes, "Hey guys, you can't smoke in here till tomorrow." I never will forget, Nick took a drag of his cigar. We're sweaty. We're setting up. He's like, "You know what? You can go fuck yourself. And if you don't like that answer, go get your boss, bring him back. I'll tell him the same thing." I just paid a shit ton of money. I'll smoke in here for the next 7 days. We never saw that kid the rest of the trade show. So we got started. Throughout the trade show that week, we sold 1,800 boxes to retailers that had no clue who the hell we were. No one knew who we were. From that point, it really took off. Just the business with doing other things just didn't fit into my schedule at that point. But now that you've brung that up,
Here it comes.
I am proud to announce that I am bringing a cigar back to the market.
Follow that passion, baby.
It probably will not be ready until probably September. The tobacco's been rolled, cigars have been rolled. It is going to be a triple blend, triple wrapper. This time we're going to do a true barber pole wrap on it.
Origins?
A little bit of Nicaraguan, a little bit of Honduras,
Okay.
and a little bit of Ecuador.
Okay.
With a triple Hilero finish for the Maduro. So you're going to start off with something real sweet, and it's going to smack you in your mouth at the end.
Yep.
The cigar name is going to be called Octane Rat Rod.
Once again?
Rat Rod.
Okay.
And for people wonder, what the hell is a rat rod?
Where'd you find that one?
So if you ever look up hot rod cars, what a rat rod car is, a rat rod car is a car made with different parts of other cars. I thought pretty damn cool name with the name Octane Cigar Company. We're taking different blends from different countries, different makes, different binders. So we're going to call it Rat Rod. So it will be out fall time.
You better get them because I'm buying them all up.
You know, it's funny. It's a shame Frank left. I gave Frank a sample a few months ago, and he smoked it. And Frank will tell you, if he was here, it's one of the top 3 cigars he's ever smoked in his life.
It's a great smoke. I'm just telling you. There's a whole nother story how Mike and I met on a golf course with this cigar, but that's for another time.
That's for another podcast.
You have 5 minutes to spare?
This takes way more than 5 minutes.
Yes, it does.
How long you got?
Hey, the short version of it is, where the hell did you get that at? Oh, I know the owner. Oh, you do you?
Well, I did. I knew one of the owners, but I didn't know he was part of it. It was funny. It was a cool story, and it goes back to, you know, how small the community really is. You know what I mean? Like, everybody asks me when I go to Texas, the biggest joke is, "Aren't you from New Hampshire?" And I'm like, "No, it's a different state. Didn't you go to high school? Like, you should know what all the states are." I'm from Delaware.
Especially the first one.
Yeah, I know, and I tell them all that all the time. I mean, you know, this is the first state. I get you were a country, and then, you know, you lost or something, but, you know, hey. But nonetheless, that's what it is. Like, once you start in business, it's really, really, really a small community. And the real quick way to get in front of everybody, you know, is just to get in front of everybody, and that's what we do here. So, you know, that's why, you know, Smoke World is here, and that's why he talks to us. So, you know, you should also mention, you know, he helped you out with the sponsors on your website. You know what I mean? And help defer costs. I mean, that's always, these are things that seasoned business owners help other business owners with. We have the mistakes that we've made that cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars. That when we see someone we like, you know, and someone that we want to help, we help you not make those mistakes by having a conversation. And that's that most people are scared to talk and scared to ask, thinking, well, you know, Sherm's been around 25 years as a business owner. He's not going to talk to me. Bullshit. I sit here and we talk about all kinds of stuff all the time, you know, and I'm helping people and people are helping me. I listen to stories from engineers, from lawyers, from accountants, from, you know, business professionals in banking and finance, because if you're not listening, you're never going to get better. So that's what it's part of. So yeah, make sure, you know, if you have any questions, you know, you can reach me, you know, at shermscatering.com. You know, you go, you know, just my I'm one of the sponsors of Smoke World, so you can click on that and send me an email if you can't find it. It's that easy. So I'm always here to help. You know, I'm only going to give so much free help, but, you know, I do small business coaching. If you're looking for that and you have some questions, we can set you up on a program. You know, again, we'll get you in the right places. right financing, right accountants, make sure you're legally set up and ready to rock and roll. And that's some of the things you got to make sure you got to get done. So back to Smoke World. Smoke World.
Now, you guys covered a few things. I do have, it's not even a question. The fact that now you're doing some things, what would you recommend or what advice would you give? Because, again, I think it's a fear factor. A lot of folks, we're secure, we work 9 to 5, and we're, I guess, a little scared, a little shy. Oh, wow, that's nice. Well, folks, I hate to interrupt, but I'm looking at the logo right now for the cigar Octane. Okay, again, the graphic design is awesome. The color stands out. You got to check Weakfish out. That's all I'm going to say. Check weakfish.com out. He's doing big things. He's making moves. If you want your stuff to pop, to look a little different from everybody else's at a cheap rate, you need to see weakfish.com. Going back to that, I'm jumping around, folks, so you got to forgive me. Mike, on your Weakfish now, if someone's interested in just saying, you know what, Mike, I'm not quite there, maybe another podcaster, I'm looking just for the website, and I'm not really ready for the social media platform setup. Is that something that you'd be able to do for them, just to create the website content for them?
Absolutely. Our websites, we have fixed packages even for websites. One of the things I've learned over the last few years is the fluff in marketing and design. There's a lot of it. Now, granted, we offer fixed packages. People look at me, how the hell can you do it? It's volume, right? We can design a website for you starting as cheap as $6.99 a month. Or $6.99, sorry, total.
Folks, I'm trying to tell you, if you go look at my website, I hate to say it, it's the bomb.
It is.
Weakfish took care of me. And if you want to be like Smoke World, that's where you need to be. I'm going back to my original question, folks. Again, we're jumping around, so pay attention. I know you might be smoking, you might be drinking, whatever you may be doing, listening to this podcast, sweating, driving, whatever. Again, back to my original question. Mind your business. Yeah, sweating. A lot of people listen to podcasts while they work out. So at the end of the day, podcast has its place. I don't have a video face, but that's another story. Mind your business. Yeah, that's why I'm on podcast. Folks, we're going to get his address. We're going to come hunt him down. But we're not going to worry about that right now. So for those who are listening, again, going back to whatever reason that we feel that fear to step out, to do our own thing, because there's so much talent in a lot of cigar lounges. A lot of folks have great ideas, but whatever reason they don't act on those ideas. And you guys actually did that. So what advice would you give to those who are listening? It may be right there, thinking, I'm tired of this job, tired of getting up early in the morning, like me. Like, what can I do? What would you tell that individual, that person's listening right now? Like, okay, I want to step out, but, I got my 9 to 5. I'm getting my little $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, barely paying the bills. What advice would you give to those individuals?
So there was a great guy by the name of Steve Jobs. I'm sure you probably heard of him.
Yeah, rumor has it.
He says, when you wake up so many days in a row and you go and you brush your teeth and you look at the mirror and you keep saying, I can't do this anymore, comes a point in time where you got to make a change, right? Much like the cigar that I'm enjoying right now, very nice Undercrown 10 by my boys at Drew Estate. You got to find something that drives your passion every single day. Look, every day we get up, we have 70, 80, 100 projects in the queue. I don't look at it that way. I'm looking at, let's go. Let's get them done. Let's move on. Like when Sherm gets a wedding for 300 people, he doesn't say, oh shit, I got to make all the, he's driven. You know what he's doing? He's looking forward to the next wedding. You got to find that passion, and when you do, you got to go for it, man. Because when you have option B, option A is never going to work out.
So a good mentor, everybody's heard this guy, is Tony Robbins. He says you have to burn the boats. You make your best decisions when you have no other options. You know what I mean? And I I didn't kind of pitter-pat. I didn't teeter between two things. I started my first business in 1998 driving home from leaving the Navy and having no job. You know what I mean? I waited tables. That wasn't really a job. It was just money until I got the first business up and running. You know, you gotta pay the bills, you gotta feed your family, you gotta do that kind of stuff, but your why has to be strong, and your why, you have to define what your why is. That's really what makes you do this, because it's not easy, and neither is going to work for someone else. You gotta listen to somebody else's bullshit, and they tell you shit that doesn't make sense, you know, and that kind of stuff all the time. Well, it's no different in business, you know, so you gotta have something that drives you deep, you know, and money is just a multiplication of and division of things, you know. So if you make, let's just say you make 50 grand a year, so that boils down to, you know, or let's go with 60, so that boils down to $5 grand a month. That's, you know, $1,000 a week. Think about it. What would it take you to sell, do, service to get that $1,000? Like, you just divide it out. So, you know, if that's, you know, so let's go with Mike's example. So if he needs to make $1,000 a week, he's got to do 2 websites a week. That's $1,200. So now he's made the 50 grand. And if he made 80, now he has to do 4 websites a week. You know, and now he's making his 80 grand. And that's how you divide it out. The problem is in your mind, that negative voice is telling you that 80,000 is a lot. Well, it's not a lot. It's just a division of numbers. Break it down to the smaller numbers so that I only have to do 400 things a week. And now 400 things a week doesn't seem, that's only 4. There's 5 days in a week we work. And you have 7 days a week to figure it out. So that's how you make it possible, is that you have to divide it back down into smaller numbers so that you understand that the smaller numbers equal the bigger numbers. I'm not saying to stop at 4. I'm just saying that you realize that 4 is get you to where you're at. And then once you do 4, then you'll be like, well, if I can do 4 in a week, I can do 8 in a week. Next thing you know, he's doing 16 websites in a week. And you're like, holy shit, I was worried about making this money, and now all of a sudden I'm making 3 weeks pay in 1 week. You know, that's what you guys are thinking about. The people that are kicking the can, going, I should start, I shouldn't start, oh my God. So I'm going to explain to you what fear is. Fear is false evidence appearing real. And that's the negative voice in your head telling you, and finding the ways that this is not going to work. But it will work if you put your mind to it and you set the goals, like I said, and you break them down into parts to equal your goal. It works, and it will work every time as long as you work it. Now, that's an ugly 4-letter word that most people don't want to deal with, is work. But you're not going to be your own boss and not put in work. You're probably going to put in twice the work. I probably started out doing 100 hours a week. And you're like, bullshit, Sherman. I'm going to tell you, I used to sleep. You know, when I had the Christiana Memorial Hall and we used to do almost 150 events a year there would be some times where I got done one event at 2 o'clock in the morning and I slept on the couch in the bridal room because I had a breakfast order going out the next day at 6, and I looked at 30 minutes home and 30 minutes back as an extra hour of sleep. I'm just going to sleep on the couch and get an extra hour of sleep to make it work. And that's what you have to do sometimes. It's just, but remember, that money comes to me. That money comes to the legacy that I'm building and that you will be building. That's how it works. Just remember that.
Wow, folks, if you're not listening, you better be paying attention. That's all I'm going to tell you. They just gave you some knowledge. Now, as we wrap up, brothers, is there anything that I may have not asked that you would like to share as we close up to let folks know? Again, that was a hell of a speech, Sharon. I feel inspired right now. I think I'm going to go tell my boss tomorrow I'm quitting. So I don't know if you recommend that or not. Well,
don't put shit out there you're not going to do.
Well, listen, man, I'm inspired right now. After listening to that, I'm ready to rock and roll. So, again, I'm going to ask, is there anything in closing, again, that I may have not asked, that you don't think that we covered, that you want to let the folks know?
Just go for it, man. That's all. Just go for it. If you got something, go for it.
Absolutely. There's no better feeling than when you're doing it for yourself. There's no better feeling that when you know, I have 30 some employees now, you know, and I have people that are my general manager that runs my company now. I have managers that run the kitchen. You know, I'm not doing it day to day anymore. And there's no better feeling that I put that together. You know what I mean? Like that you put that together and this is you. You know, you look back sometimes, you realize, holy shit, it used to be me and 2 people. You know, now I look around and I'm like, damn, I have 30 people that I provide for. You know, I provide a living, a life. You know, my head chef just bought a house. You know, he you know, when he started working for me, he was just a prep cook. You know, now he's my executive chef. He's come a long way. You've coached them, you trained them. You know, like, that's what it's all about, that kind of stuff. You know, just do it. Like, the longer you put it off, the longer it is that it's gonna take to get there. You know what I mean? Just if this is what you want to do it. There's a ton of people. There's a ton of resources. You know, when I started in '98, they didn't have entrepreneur classes in college. They didn't have entrepreneur clubs. They didn't have business coaches a dime a dozen. I mean, you just Google business coach, and I bet you there's 57 pages worldwide. In '98, that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of people to help you. There's plenty of people out here. There's plenty of resources. There's plenty of things that help you to make sure you're successful. They have, you know, in the chambers. I mean, every chamber all over the place, they have incubators that help you. They have, you know, people there to help you with everything. There's tons of resources to help you get started. The only person that's holding you back is you. So stop letting you be the reason why you're not where you want to be.
A drop the mic moment.
Virginia
The guy who just got out of prison, he won't mention his name. I don't know if he has anything he would like to say in closing. Well, we're not judging. He just got out of prison.
For the record, I did not just get out of prison. I'm not in witness protection. I just have not been around the lounge with my brothers in a while. Got a lot going on right now, you know. So I'm glad to be here, fellowship with the people. Glad to have a good conversation with Smoke World and Weak Fish, Mike Dove, great company, and just glad to be a part of the conversation, man.
Okay, I guess he did set the record straight, folks. But his tattoos tell me he just got out of prison like 2 weeks ago. Hold on a second there.
Dave, I just want to let you know that we made sure that we didn't go to that side of the room. I hope you're okay with that. He's bowing right now.
Boom. Rex, come on, you're real quiet over here. You know, we got some folks. The room is full of people. I know you're not here. The room is full.
We have a mathematician.
And, yeah.
Have first count.
Again, radio is theater of the mind, so we only can paint a picture for you because we don't have the video. They're sitting here like they're the audience. I guess they're a little shy, but that's okay. That's okay. They don't want to say anything. So with that being the case, folks, appreciate you listening to another episode of Smoke World. Again, you can follow me on Instagram at Smoke World Podcast. You send those emails to stone@smokeworldpodcast.com. Again, folks, check out the website, smokeworldpodcast.com. Go support the sponsors. Again, a Weak Fish production. And guess what, folks? We will check you out on the other side. Peace.